For the past 20 months, a wholesale and one-touch switching service has been developed on behalf of 5 altnet companies that have each provided loans to the CWP venture. CWP has been set up as a not-for-profit organisation that is owned and governed equally by all those who join the platform. This presentation will explain how industry collaboration for switching and wholesale of full fibre services will aid competition and lead to increased consumer and business user choice. There are more than 80 full fibre access communications providers in the UK and some 6,000 retail communication providers. Of the 27 million premises in the UK, some 5.5 million are now served by companies that are not using the BT Openreach network. For retailers to resell services from any of those 80+ companies that wholesale services, it would require them to look up services in many different ways. If there is one non-competing marketplace platform that brings networks and retailers together, retailers and their consumer and business customers will be better informed about what services are available to them. Large, complex IT integration can be avoided. CWP have created such a platform. When defining the requirements for CWP more than 1 year ago, we noticed that there was a significant overlap between the proposed Ofcom one-touch switching process and the interaction between retailers and wholesalers. Hence, CWP solves the messaging required for retailer to wholesale. This is the highlighted boxes. CWP can also enable broadband switching. This is important for any company that sells broadband services, as this Ofcom OTS process must be implemented by these providers prior to the 3rd of April 2023 deadline. This process is shown in these highlighted boxes. In CWP, wholesalers can add any of their wholesale services and network coverage and make that visible to any retailers that they wish to contract with. We also have a CWP reference product and reference contract terms that make it easier for retailers to consume services from multiple wholesalers. Our service is also important for any access providers that wish to tender for Project Gigabit funding and ensure compliance with the tender requirements to offer wholesale services. We recognise that there are other wholesale platforms in the UK, so we have created a subset common switching platform service alongside the more comprehensive common wholesale platform service. In CSP, retailers just use their existing access to wholesalers to identify service availability, but our adherence to the OTS process will ensure a compliant switching service through the CSP open APIs or its smaller member portal. Our APIs or portal also offer a back channel that allows communication via tickets about any matter outside the standard process. When access communications providers first build their network, they may see some healthy take-up of the service through their own retail efforts. This is then entered into their business case as forecast of future network adoption. However, reality often shows that as companies get busier, the initial drive is hard to maintain and hard to scale, and adoption rates start to slow down. Ways to improve the return on investment need to be found. Adding a wholesale offer to the access communication provider's portfolio is one such way to increase adoption rates. Layering this additional revenue stream, the access provider can get somewhat closer to their original business case. By way of an example, here you see 10 premises that an access provider has connected. The adoption rate is 15 to 30%. So 70 to 85% remains unsold, and those properties are probably served by other providers. By making these premises available to resellers who may have some alternative value-added services and marketing methods, a further 3 premises could be sold. If you do the sums, and would be happy to share the profit model that underpins this, a network provider could add an additional 67% of revenue or 50% of margin. The retailer would also add a further £120 of revenue from full fibre services that it otherwise might not have been able to sell. CWP are open for business and are being joined by a growing number of members. Please contact us on cwpuk.org.